in the last few months. We started a progression. For a while they were going after the foster care kids, and they still are, because many foster care children run away. But they're also putting girls on airplanes to get them from one state to the other, and they're really using the computer a lot to identify themselves to someone that's willing to sell them a child. But the FBI and law enforcement agencies are really getting on this, and I'll explain to you some of the recent arrests that have been made by men trying to buy children online. This is my impression. This is just me speaking, but I do believe there's going to be a correlation between online pornography, child pornography, and trafficking. The gangs are getting involved in Sacramento County. There was actually a sweep of gangs, but within that process, they also rescued several children that are being sold by the gangs. This is a profit motive here, and unfortunately, people are getting into it to make money. There's some really good things happening in Los Angeles County with UCLA and county services in regards to foster care kids, developing curriculum, developing training for foster parents, developing a video for law enforcement. I will have access to that as soon as it's hot off the press. I have now a connection there. Yolo County is coming together to meet on a regular basis and staff the kids. There's a possibility that one of the Indian casinos will be donating some money for a daycare center for their teens. They've identified that in Yolo County, there are a lot of teenagers that don't want to go home and have no place to go. So this would be able to help facilitate services for those kids. We have someone sitting on that committee. I started out with it, that Monique Ward will take over from Yolo County, from Woodland. And I think it's a great opportunity for us to really make some change in the community. Law enforcement is getting together also nationally with the FBI or with each other to do sweeps. And they feel that that's a good use of their time because they're also busy doing other things. They're not just doing things in regards to trafficking. There was a sweep in July and the first part of August with law enforcement throughout the nation. And they picked up 500 Johns in what they call sex trade crackdown, 111 prostitutes, and 13 juveniles. But what I want you to know that came out of that sweep is something very, very significant. We're beginning to see a profile of who's buying these children. 53% of those arrested were married, 47% were college graduates. This is changing the profile of who's buying these kids. I have a newspaper article, not a newspaper article, I have information as of yesterday that in our region, a highway patrolman, California Highway Patrol, was arrested. He was 49 years old. He was now currently working in Fairfield, but he'd also been in the Chico office for 21 counts of child pornography, and he was unfortunately using a website and a Wi-Fi locally around the area that he served, okay? And that's how he was picked up. 21 counts, this guy's going away. There were also other two young men that tried to buy a young girl, age 13, on the computer. And they're both going away. The FBI was able to intercept and pretend that they were a seller, and they got both the men, got the one trying to sell and the one trying to buy the girl. And the sad part about it, the one that was trying to buy the girl was 23 years old, and he was an ex-coach in high school, and he was trying to buy a 13-year-old girl. He's also going to go away. Okay, the other important issue here is that when I mentioned the modernization, they are really moving the girls a lot more. They always kind of did that if they really got into the cycle. But now they're even doing more so because FBI and law enforcement is really kind of getting on to them. Run for Courage has done some in-service training with the Sacramento Metropolitan Airlines. Because we want to now help them identify if any girl is, put on a plane and sent to another state, which is really, really good. I want to read to you just real briefly some of the arrests that have been made in the last 6 months. Mammoth Lake's man sentenced to more than 15 years in prison for enticement of a minor. Recent child exploitation cases, 3 indictments, 1 guilty plea, and 1 14-year sentence. And often with the sentence, there goes about a $250,000 fine now. Chicago man, listen to this. Chicago man pleads guilty to sex trafficking offense with underage girl in Sacramento area. Okay. Stanislaus County man pleads guilty to trafficking and child pornography. He was given a 20-year sentence in prison, $250,000 fine, and a lifetime term of supervised release. So the judges are really trying to come down as much as they can. U.S. citizen extradited from the Netherlands, sentenced to 35 years in prison for sexual exploitation of a minor. So he tried to flee to the Netherlands, but he still got caught. Visalia man indicted for sex trafficking of minors, and he was given a 15 years up to life in prison and $250,000 fine. FBI task force in Fairfield, Fresno, and Sacramento successfully recovered 9 juveniles, arrests 7 individuals who were alleged pimps. That was another sweep that was done. 5 of the minors were from Fresno County, 3 from Sacramento, and 1 from Solano County.
Does it say what happened to the minors that were involved?
The minors, for the most part, are sent to something like juvenile hall that we have in Sacramento County, or to a facility if the county has developed a relationship with some of the facilities, and they are popping up all over the state. Or they're trying to send some of them out of state, but that's very expensive. But they will do that if they have the funds. And what happens too is that this is so critical, and it's one thing that the FBI now is trying to do in terms of not only rescuing them, but recovering them, and trying to keep them out of juvenile hall if they possibly can. The first piece of legislation on the handout that I gave you will take away the prostitution as a crime for the girl if it can be proven that she's underage and she really was trafficked and forced to go into prostitution. They'll take that off of her record. That is also major because we want to keep her out of it.